Hello, this is Yana Blue, and this is my Halloween costume from 2012. I'd never been a robot before. I like to move and dance. I thought it would be fun to have a costume that dictated a non-human form of movement that I could play with. I also thought it would be nice to have it be cheap. It's all made out of cardboard and simple materials. It's highly articulated. There's actually 15 separate pieces that fit on, which means that my joints can all move pretty freely, as you can see. I wanted it to have kind of a flared thing on the forearms and the lower legs. So this is the piece of cardboard that I show you how to make the flared shape out of. You just want to measure it out how wide you want it at the base and at the top and the bottom, and then you lay it out on a piece of cardboard. This is a single box, and you just trace the angle 4 times, and that way when you fold it all together it creates a 3-dimensional form. All of the pieces are made out of a single box and then folded into form. I lined everything in duct tape so that the edges would be covered, and then I covered everything in poster board because the cardboard I was using was free. It was a little beat up. The poster board gave it a cleaner edge. So this is my upper thigh piece. Then this is my lower leg piece, you can see covered in poster board. I made the seam on the poster board in a different spot from the seam on the cardboard so that it was stronger, and then I covered the seam with other stuff. On the curves of the cardboard, I covered it in smaller pieces of duct tape. You want to use thinner pieces, and you want the edge to be flat, but the top and bottom, that can be pleated like that. That's fine because it's getting covered in poster board. I also, to get these curves in parts of the cardboard, you want to go with the grain of the cardboard. You can see these lines here, that shows it. And then I would just line it up on an edge, on the edge of my craft table, and just fold it down over. This is already folded. I'm just showing you how to do it here. And that gives you a crisper edge. And then for the upper arm and upper leg pieces, I also put some elastic in here. Just cut a little slit, put the elastic through, stretch it around my thigh, measured it off, and sewed it. And then you want to go back and forth a couple times on the elastic with the stitching, and then you just feed it through so the seam is on the inside. I used hot glue on everything, so this is me hot gluing the poster board on. I found it useful if the piece was curved to glue the poster board on after the cardboard was already curved, and that strengthened it. And then you just make a little excess, trim the edges. This is an early test seeing how the upper thigh pieces work. They seem to be pretty good, and then try it out with the lower thigh pieces too. I like all the movement I got. I can't bend my legs more than really a 90-degree angle, but it's enough movement. If you can move totally like a human, then you're not a robot anyway. And then this is my chest torso piece. Again, this is one box, all one piece of cardboard. You can see I cut armholes in it. That hole in front is for the tape player. And then you just cut slits where you want it to bend, so that's for the neck. You can see I've got these little thin pieces of duct tape again for that tight curve to line it up better. And then on the shoulder part, I just cut little slits in it and just folded these little tabs over, and then put a brace underneath and hot glued it all. In the back, you can see I cut a little slit in it. That's so that when you meet those edges of the slit, it actually creates a curve along this line. And then when the box is completely closed, it creates a full piece. I used nuts and bolts, which was my girlfriend's idea, to fasten it. She was also a robot this year, so we were all bolted into our costumes. I got so that I could do it myself, but it's easier with a little help. And then I took these strips of poster board, spray painted them silver, and put Brad's paper fasteners from a office supply store through them to make it look like rivets. I painted the rivets blue as well, so you've got the blue on silver on blue. This is a ring of poster board. I cut out a whole bunch of these and hot glued them to a sheet of screen, and then spray painted it all blue and cut them out. I'm hot gluing it to a styrofoam bowl. I brushed silver with acrylic. It's just one of these black styrofoam bowls. I got a stack of them for a couple bucks. And I wanted to glue these on all of my joints to create a sense of like a robot servo sticking out, housing for the little motors that move the joints. So this is the legs. I put them on both sides of the knee, but the inside of the knee ended up getting knocked off when I was walking around and dancing, and then I've got some foam inside of the leg to make it fit better. These are for the shoes. I wanted silver jointed shoes, so can see I've traced it on the back, and then I'm painting this side of it, and then I've got the other leg already cut out, or the other foot, sorry, stuck on with a little masking tape, just taped down, sticky side up. This way I was able to spray paint everything in one go, and I didn't have the pieces blowing around. This is them once they're painted. The toe's got a little slit in it so it can create a three-dimensional form, and it's just jointed, had to trim off the excess, and then I found I couldn't get my foot in and out of it easily, so I had to cut a little bit more off of it. And then I've got these little upholstery tacks, which are kind of longer than thumbtacks. Painted those blue as well, just by sticking them in the case so that I could spray paint them all in one sweep again. Everything I was doing, I was just thinking about articulation, being able to move easily. And these shoes, they look a little bit like knight's shoes, but that's fine with me. I like the way the tacks look like rivets. Put some rivets in the gloves too. This is again poster board painted, glued onto $2 gloves with little brads in them. The middle ones just are in the poster board, and then the outer two, the one tab sticks out, and then I cut them all off. And then the other tab actually goes down, and then I put a little piece of duct tape underneath it because it's actually going through the glove, and that keeps it from scratching my hand. The first step after you've got all the pieces cut out is to fold them around a curved object. I'm using a hot glue stick here. I had all of these pieces labeled to, you know, index, middle, ring, pinky, and I had to wrap duct tape around my fingers and then put the glove on because I wanted to glue these on while the glove was stretched around my hand. But I didn't want to burn my fingers with hot glue, so I actually used 2 pieces of duct tape around each finger, and that I could still feel the heat a little bit, but it didn't burn so much, except my fingers sticking them on. I used a trick where I actually lick the tips of my fingers. You can see me doing that right now. They come back a little slick. That's so the hot glue, you can like smooth it out without burning your fingers as much. Saliva kind of creates a cushion. The pinky pieces, I was finding I had to trim things as I went. You want to accommodate for the curve of the webbing of in between your fingers and in the gloves. And you just want to use one single line across the middle of the pieces, because that means that it's not sticking to as much of the glove, so the glove has more freedom to stretch and flex. And then of course I had glued the glove to the duct tape that's wrapped around my fingers, so it took a little bit of effort to get it off, using a pencil to jimmy it off there. And you can see on this finished glove, I've got these nice little creases in the top part. The way I did that is just using the edge of a table, again, same with the cardboard, just doing nice, even folds that creates a nicer crease than you can really get with your hands. And then I used a little pocket knife to poke holes for the brads. It's about the same size as the brads, which was useful. And then, again, you want a couple layers of duct tape. I would say even 3 to be safe. There were moments where I could feel the burn a little bit. And then this is the piece for the end of the thumb. You just want to do like a little L of hot glue on that, and that goes right along there. And so these brads, you stick the middle ones in first, fold them over. You want to give it a nice good crease on the tabs, and then when you're cutting these off, just point down so it doesn't fly into your face. 4 lines of hot glue, and then put the last brads in and a little duct tape on the inside. This is the helmet after it's been worn a few times. It's a little beat up by now, but again, styrofoam bowls on the ears. It's lined in zipper on the eyes and the mouth, coat hanger wire, and then ping pong balls painted silver. And it's got some good visibility. The screen, which I used 3 layers of so you couldn't see my face inside, but you see it wraps all the way around, so I have a little bit of peripheral vision. Also inside I've got a little mouth whistle thing, which makes the illusion of whirring gears. Now, with karate chop action! Thanks for watching. Leave a comment.